Well, hello. I am Joella, and this is my YouTube channel. Okay, I'm sure you can tell it's the first one. But anyway, it's called Sunshine Flower Girl, and I will explain probably in the next video why I chose that. Anyway, it'll be about lots of different things. You know, my life. Also some recipes. I'll probably do some recipes, yeah. And then, you know, something about what I'm doing today, but also crafty things, sewing and some other thing. Anyway, that's kind of what I'll be doing. Mostly about my life though. To begin with, I want to explain to y'all how the place that I grew up. Because, you know, sometimes we don't tell people all that. So anyway, I will. It's a look into my childhood. Mine was not anything wowie. It was in a small town, and I loved it. I didn't know anything different. My mom and dad, both, we lived in now we would call it a tiny house, but then we just lived in a 3-bedroom, 1-bathroom house. So anyway, I grew up in a neighborhood that all of the kids played together. And I was just about the only girl. And, oh no, there were girls probably 2 or 3 blocks away. But, you know, when you're, 8 or 9, you don't think that's very close. You just think that's far away. So even though I had a bicycle and I rode my bike everywhere, I didn't really go that far. You know, that was just too far. The best part about riding a bike was when the city would put gravel down on the street. I know they probably put, you know, I don't know, tar down, whatever, and then the gravel. So the best fun we had was ride very fast and then skid, you know, do your brake, and then you skid. Now, if you weren't careful, you could fall on the gravel, which I did, and I still have some scars from that, which is really bad. So, well, or not so bad now, but they were then. Anyway, that's kind of the neighborhood I grew up in. And being about the only girl, the guys, all the boys, would play baseball, and they'd also play, different things, you know, like, we'd chase each other around the house. We didn't have a fence, so we just run around the house and chase each other, which was, I guess, great fun at that time. Anyway, I would play baseball with them, but since I was the only girl, I would get up to bat, and what would they do? Yeah, they would try to hit me with the ball. Yeah, and even to this day, I still dodge. When somebody throws something at me, I'll dodge, and I put up my hands, and it's like, no, I don't like this. So that's kind of the growing up time. I loved my way of life, primarily because nobody told me that there was something different. So I would play and play and play, and like so many times, we didn't go home. We didn't go home until it was dark. So, but we really knew to go home when it got dark. So anyway, that was one thing. And one day, you know, my older brother, he got a knife. A knife. I think it was probably for his birthday. But he got this knife, and he went around and tried to figure out things that he could use his knife on. Yeah, and he wasn't, well, let's see, he was probably 5 years older than me, so he thought he was somebody. So anyway, he found out that he could, do a lot of different things with this knife. And he went to a neighbor that was across the alley, and they had grass that was a little tall, and so he got his knife out. And like any guy, guess what he did? He decided he would cut the grass. Yeah. And I'm sure my mother, if she had known what he was going to do, she would have just been bad. So anyway, he got his little knife out. Well, it was really big to me. I don't know, how big it was, but it was sharp, very sharp. And he started cutting the grass. So he's holding the grass and then cutting down here. Okay, so you get the picture. Well, guess what? Yeah, he cut himself. I was just amazed. I had never been around any bloody thing like that. So anyway, the biggest thing that I do remember, though, was my mom. Oh, she was mad. She was so mad. But she wasn't mad at my brother. No, no, no. She was mad at my dad. My dad was the one that gave him the knife. So anyway, all the mad went to my dad. So that kind of rhymed, if y'all didn't realize that. Anyway, so I didn't really have a real exciting life, but I had fun. I loved it. We played hide and seek a lot, which was always my favorite. But, we just did things just like my brother. And, oh man, when he cut his hand, I wasn't concerned about him. But I did think about the blood. And he didn't cry or anything. But, a guy, he wasn't going to cry. Anyway, but that was more or less what my life was like. My younger brother, he's 3 years younger, he was born on that street in that town. The hospital was just a block and a half from her house. And so we just all walked over there. Of course, she didn't just go in the hospital, have the baby, and go home. Then you stayed in the hospital, and the mother stayed, on and on. And his mom's room and his room were on the second floor of this hospital. And even to this day, you could go see the hospital and see where his room was. Okay, so I went over there, and I was just totally amazed that I had a little brother, for one. But then my grandma and grandpa and my dad and my 2 older siblings, we all walked over there to the hospital. Okay, so we had to see the second floor, and there wasn't anyway. And those days, they didn't let people in the hospitals. No, especially not when you had a baby. No way. So my dad said, since I couldn't see, that my grandpa, he could put me on his shoulder, and then I'd be able to see. And it was true. I could see. But little did I know that my grandpa was the one that would later sexually abuse me. I know that I might have been really afraid of him at that time if I'd have really known what my future was and how it might affect me. But I didn't know then. I didn't know anything then. So I was just enjoying the moment. But the sexual abuse, I will address that in a later video. But today I just wanted to kind of give you an idea as to what I'm going to talk about. There are things in my life that I will address. I'm married now and have been for over 40 years. And I was married before, and my husband and son were killed in a plane crash. So I will be talking about that and that life, because we lived on a farm and did interesting things. Not to say that I don't have an interesting life now, but I will be talking about different things and cooking something. Cooking tonight Caesar salad with chicken on it. So who knows, maybe I'll take some pictures of that. Anyway, you guys have a really blessed day. I love you all, and I look forward to doing the next video. Thanks for watching. Be sure and like, share, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye now.